He once stole candy from a baby and then threw it in the trash. He is the most evil man in the world. You're listening to the Truth Shotgun himself on the Noir. So, you realized you're a loser. It could have happened to anyone. Or really, there's no point in saying that though, because even though it could have happened to anyone, it didn't just happen to anyone, it happened to you. I'm sure it's happening to many other people. Well, if we're being honest about it, it's probably happened to at least 90% of all living human beings, past or present. It might even be happening to millions of people right this very second, right along with you. But that doesn't really matter, nor does it bring you any real measure of solace. This is, after all, your world, your perception of things. I'm sure the world doesn't actually revolve around you, but, come on, it does. Maybe not in the astrophysical sense, but as far as your sensory inputs and realizations, who else would it revolve around? What other person-centric world could you even rationalize? Why would you even try? Call it selfish, but in your heart of hearts, you know the truth just as well as you know yourself, your inward desires, your inward worthiness, what kind of man or woman you are, how old you are, corresponding with that same amount of Christmases, Easters, and a few less years spent in school. The people you dated, all that sex you were able to finagle. All those broken hearts you had, that time you fired your first gun, your first rip off a bong, your first riot, and your first conviction. You know all of that shit you've been through, and you know what it all meant to you. No one else could possibly know how dynamic your life has truly been. But even more than that, you know what it all means. You know what progress looks like. Sure, you used to be naive, back when you were young, but now you've been around the block a time or two. You can smell which way the wind is blowing, and you know what progress looks like, and you know this ain't it. You know a pattern because you've seen them. Unlike everyone else who just keeps falling into the same stupid social traps over and over and over again, that's why the world revolves around you. Because you get it. You understand, not just the way things are, but the way that they should be. Or at least, you did. What happened to you? Really, what happened? You just wake up one day and there it was, the realization? Or maybe it hits you out of the blue for no apparent reason, just one of those things, right? Maybe it was the first time you just decided you'd rather take a nap at 4 p.m. Or decided that you'd rather, just stay in. Because, bleh. Maybe more likely, some instigating event was the catalyst. Maybe it was after hitting the snooze button for the 5th time in a row, even though you knew you should be productive. Maybe you're getting fast food for the 3rd time this week. Or walking into a kitchen filled with dishes you haven't washed in a month. Maybe you found a rip in your underwear or realized that carpets need cleaning and you didn't know quite how to do that. Maybe too many people just stared at you strangely today or no one laughed at your jokes. Maybe you've realized that no one has laughed at your jokes in quite some time. Except for that fake laughter people give when they know something isn't funny, but they're worried if they don't laugh, then you'll have to redeem yourself trying again, and they really don't want you to. It doesn't matter what did it, the fact is it eventually hits you, the reality of things, the reality of you, of what you are, and how it speaks to who you are. Your pulse quickens. Your palms begin to sweat. You breathe heavier as the fight or flight response begins to initiate. You become your own little mini panic attack as you begin failing the polygraph of life. The lie you have unknowingly been living now becomes a precipitous flush of shame running down your cheeks and neck into a pale flush of orgasmic fail in your chest. All of a sudden, whether you like it or not, you begin to realize that the world doesn't revolve around you. Maybe if you take a second to really think about it, go ahead, I'll wait. You're probably starting to realize that you don't get it like you thought you did. that you aren't quite or even nearly as smart as you used to think you were. And with that realization comes another worse one, that maybe you aren't as awesome as you used to think you were. Or maybe, just maybe, you realize that you aren't really awesome at all, that you aren't revolutionary, that you aren't better, that maybe you are nothing more than a completely normal person, a worthless, generic plebeian with all your needs and all your wants and all your whines and complaints and insecurities, and none of it means a goddamn thing. Welcome to the new reality. You sitting right there, realizing that you are a loser. Don't worry, we all had to go through it. But that doesn't make you feel even the slightest bit better. So now what? Well, obviously you can't stay here, but maybe you don't know quite where here is, or if here is even an actual place that you can be. Is it merely a state of mind or a state of being? Is such conjecture even meaningful? Is anything meaningful? Are you even alive? Why would you even ask that? Why even ask anything? Just why are the questions that you begin to ask yourself more and more these days as the typical excuses become less and less worth it. Does God exist? What good will either answer do you? Are you a good person? Who gives a shit? It's not helping you. Are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? How do you even gauge that? What is the meaning of life? It's got to be something other than to live and to die. But is it? And if that truly is the meaning of life, then why try? Oh, sure, there'd be a reason to try, like if you were rich or had the perfect spouse, or if you were really living up to your true potential, but be honest, you're none of those. You spend far more times playing video games than you do actually trying to better yourself, and the stress of this realization is going to force you to immediately go play more video games. That's the best part about realizing your place in life. It's a feedback loop of pain, the gift that keeps on giving, and the dick that keeps on fucking you right up the ass. Well, I feel better. But not good enough for you? Well, hey man, don't you worry. Fox Wilde's here to help. Seriously, he's gonna fix every single one of your worldly woes and give you some new ones to chew on. And he's going to start it all out by telling you exactly who you are, where you are, how you got here, and where you should be going. And how do I have the ability to tell you that? Well, it's quite simple, really, because you, my friend, are just like me. That's right, I, Fox Wilde, am a loser. More precisely, I'm what's referred to as a super loser. Now, don't get hung up over the definitions. We'll go into that at a later time. What's important at the present moment is that we give you something useful. You are a loser, just like everyone else. You are right here, standing at the precipice of this realization. You got here by forgetting your birthright, your human initiative, and to be honest, I don't know where you should be going aside from not falling into that precipice. But take heart, because you haven't fallen into it quite yet. You aren't beyond saving. I know this because you are here, and you are still listening. This is the one thing you have done that others have failed to do, admitting to yourself that you have a problem and taking the first step you can towards fixing it. Even if that first step is finding some old decrepit anarchist fucktwat online who tells you that you suck. I want you to know that I take this very seriously, so every week, more or less, we're going to meet right here, you and I, okay? And we're going to have a little sit down and talk about what I expect from you and how we're going to get you back on that path to righteousness, okay? Deal. All right, I'm going to hold you to that. This has been an episode of The Noir, hosted on www.doomtownradio.com. Until next time, I'm Fox Wilde, aka Nihilist Youth. Now go fuck yourself.